Joining me now is Sean Stein Smith. He's an assistant professor of business and economics at Lehman College at the City University of New York. Thank you very much for your time, Sean.
Absolutely.
Now, it's been described as one of history's greatest ever destructions of wealth. What kind of losses are we talking here?
So it is hard to estimate, now hard numbers, hard figures, but based on anecdotal conversations and the pieces of information that have been made public, it is going to be a multi-billion-dollar bankruptcy filing. Absolutely.
And Binance was on par to buy FTX, but backed out once they had a look at the company's finances. What is the breadth and depth of financial misconduct that Bankman is accused of?
So it is more and more coming out that there were some issues with the corporate governance of how the two entities, FTX and Alameda Research, actually were conducting transactions to and from each other. So there are some possibly very serious allegations being made, both at the FTX level and on the individual level, in terms of how customer funds were handled and the types of trades undertaken.
So tell us a bit more about that. People were gaining more and more trust in crypto in general, investing whatever money they have or just $10 here or there. How likely is it that investors will be able to get their money back? What's the kind of process that they could go through?
So the whole process of trying to actually get funds back is being complicated by the underlying reality that the bankruptcy rules have not yet been updated to really hone in on some of the nuances around crypto. And then two, echoing back on that earlier point, that if there were funds lent, traded, lost, and then also hacked, then obviously those funds are not there at the platform to be returned to any external investors. So the odds of individuals and institutions getting back their funds, I think, is quite, I'd say, small. Now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, the head office of FTX was or is in the Bahamas because of the freedom to which money can be moved around. What role did regulation, or a lack thereof, play in the unraveling of the company?
So, off the top, regulation won't ever prevent unethical activities or illegal activities, which there are some allegations on that point. But if the entity had to operate here in the U.S., meaning that the U.S. Has to be more proactive in developing more comprehensive and flexible regulations for blockchain and for crypto assets, the sort of patchwork framework that has been implemented here in the U.S. and in other large markets has in turn pushed companies, FTX, Terra Labs, Celsius, into other markets that are not as closely monitored, and then opens up the door for possible unethical activities.
So crypto was considered an institution as something that might one day stabilize or destabilize the big banks, or at least operate in parallel with it. Do you think it will actually reinvent its influence, or is this the end of crypto?
I would not say that FTX is the end of crypto, but it's probably the end of part one of how crypto is understood by both individuals and institutions, and actually treated on a policy point of view, right? So now, in a post-FTX world, crypto has to be a priority for financial regulators and policymakers to, one, on their hand, have a better handle and understanding on how these tools work, and then two, to create the right environment to allow individuals and institutions and actual countries to have the upsides of blockchain and crypto, while also having a backstop or a framework to help offset any risks of hacks or other unethical actors out there.
All right, Sean, really appreciate your time. Sean Stein Smith there, Assistant Professor at Lehman College in New York.